It's the anniversary challenge. Rick is our main man, our star hero. Let's see what's in store. Through the wire, kill all the walkers and make this place safe again. I'm going to be using Rick, and I am really looking forward to using this. The Sunset Requiem. This beautiful weapon that's come from the seasonal event. Yumiko, just always a good choice. I'm going to bring the Blizzard pistol. This sets things light, has a small area effect as well. And then Aaron. Blizzard Pistol, Sea Stormer, an absolute favourite weapon. The reason why I'm bringing him along for this one is just because he's part of my daily quest. Simple, really. Okay, let's get going. Wow, that's a very big pistol. Looks kind of goofy in Rick's hands, but that's fine. It'll look great if it kills the hell out of everything. So there we go. Okay, so is Rick a good leader? Yeah, I would say he is. He has two things that are very, very important. You can cause more damage with your attacks, and you have a better chance of getting charge points when you kill an enemy. That's very important because at higher difficulties, of course, you must be getting charge points to make a difference. Now, we really mowed through that quickly. Of course, it will get a lot more difficult. I think that if you're going to have Rick, then having a team based around shooting is a pretty good idea. Yumiko is great to have. And I think that as you get into the higher difficulties, somebody like Mercer is probably a good bet as well. There's a lot of synergy with that kind of a team. Mercer, of course, can damage any enemies, no matter how hard they are. And through the wire, well, you've got a couple of considerations there. First of all, there's no threat counter, so you can be as noisy as you want. Being able to set targets on fire, very, very useful. You've got plenty of time for that fire to work and start chewing away at the hit points of even the toughest enemies. If you can cripple them or ensnare them, even better. But if not, what you can do is you can just lead them on a merry dance. So they're taking up the whole screen, sort of the right side of the screen. There's lots of them, but you can lead them up and around that wiring. You can still shoot that. You can still attack them. They can't get to you though. And it's kind of important to be able to do that when you get to the higher difficulties and they get a lot harder. Fish in a barrel. Now, we've not got any threat counter here. This is very similar to Through the Wire. Frankly, though, I feel like this is a mission where you've got to have the right guys with the right gear, or you don't really stand a chance. You start within range of the walkers. You might be able to stun them. You might be able to ensnare them, maybe crippling them. That will keep most of them off your back. You'll buy at least another turn. Rick, pretty good hero, but really his leadership ability, it takes some time to charge up. You've got to get kills in order to incrementally get more damage and more chance of getting charge points. Now, your shooters are always going to start charged. I think that that's going to be absolutely key on Fish in a Barrel. It's a mission that I sort of struggle with a bit because I don't think there's an awful lot of strategy or tactical nuance or anything. You're just there and you've either got big enough guns to deal with the problem or you don't. And there's not too much to it. You always have your tools. So maybe you could distract walkers with the Whisperer's Mask. If somebody's going to get chewed on, maybe you could chuck a pile of guts on them. You could throw some grenades in there, stun grenades, maybe stun all of the enemies. Flares to distract them. You're going to get an awful lot of enemies affected by that because they're all very, very tightly bunched. Anything with a blast, even the small blast that we've got on these shooter weapons, or anything with a decent arc, even the standard arc for your assault characters or high caliber for your hunters, is going to make a difference. It's just one of those ones where it's a little bit tough because either you've got what you need or you don't. This is another mission where we've got no threat counter. All of the enemies are big old tanks. There's somebody who's going to start up there, so you better be aware of that. This one's not too challenging. You have a couple of tanks that start nearish by. That's true. But deal with those ones, and then everything else has to come all the way across to get you. Now what you can do, of course, set them alight. You'll have plenty of time for those flames to take effect. Cripple them to slow them down. Ensnare them. Just keep hitting them with everything you've got. You've got to make a kill to have more chance of getting charge points. If you're using Rick as the leader, sure, but all of your shooters will start charged up. Even at very high difficulties, make a good, solid, critical hit or two against the tank, and you're going to be knocking off a hell of a lot of their health. Again, Mercer could be a good choice if you don't want to bring all shooters. He can hurt anything, doesn't matter how tough it is. That's never too challenging a mission, and because they're all big guys, you get a decent amount of XP for succeeding. So, last box before the highway. Get the loot and get out. I think I know this one. I think I know which mission this is. Don't know every single mission off by heart, but... Okay, it's not the one that I was thinking of. The one that I was thinking of has a bridge. It's obviously called something else. This one, we're going to have walkers pouring out of that twitching corpse pile. And something that you may have noticed, of course, is that we do have a threat counter. So if we're making noise, we are bringing more trouble down on us. It's definitely a consideration. Certainly on higher difficulties, you don't want to be getting surrounded by the enemy. You don't want more trouble than there has to be. We've got a gate and that box that we've got to interact with. What's worth noting, of course, I always say Yumiko is great to have on the team, and Connie as well. The reason why I say Yumiko is because if you shoot at something and the person opening the door has a ranged weapon, they are in range of and can see whatever Yumiko is shooting at, they will turn around and shoot it as well. It doesn't interrupt the process of opening the door or anything like that. It just means that you're not losing an attack from somebody, because they will attack as part of Yumiko's firing squad leadership trait. If it's Connie who's opening the door, say, if everybody's cuddled up next to her, they still have a chance of getting a damage increase and a charge point just by being near her, as per her leadership trait. So she's also a good one. What you want is you want heroes who could still contribute to your efforts, even when they're occupied opening that gate. I suggest you get opening the box immediately. Move straight to the gate. The whole objective is that you get out of there. Not that you kill everything. Not that you have a massively impressive display of mowing down walkers. You're just trying to get out of there. So whatever you can do to make that happen quickly is a good idea. What you could do if they're closing in, there's nothing you can do. Chuck out a flare. Keep them distracted for pretty much as long as it takes to open that gate, and then just go. It's not always about killing everything. One down, kill the boss walker. I don't recognize this mission just from the name. What do we got? Aha! Okay, so this is handy. Now, typically that will ignite a target. There's a good chance that it will, not all the time, obviously. There is something else worth bearing in mind. As soon as we've killed our target, we can get out of there. We have those exploding barrels. I suggest you use shooty characters to make the most of it. And there's a strategy that really you kind of want to stick to if you can. Go for the target. That's all you're interested in, is killing the big guy and getting out of there. As soon as he's down, you can flee. Doesn't matter how close the enemy are. Doesn't matter how many there are. Anything like that. If you get onto that green bar, you are sprinting out of there. Again, characters like Tyrese can always harm anything. Doesn't matter how big it is. Mercer, of course, can blow up one of those cans right next to that tank. Oof. It's going to cause a lot of damage. Find the loot and get out. I think... Nice. Yeah, I think this is a great one for Glenn. I'm not going to bring him just because, obviously, daily quest, Aaron. I would strongly suggest bringing Glenn along for this one. I love the sound that that comes when you open these. Sounds like a creaky door opening. It's weird. This is something to bear in mind. Now, what can we do about this? Well, we have a threat counter. So let's keep that in mind. So if we're making noise, we're making problems for ourselves. We can do this. We can spawn block. Now, sure, that side of the map is getting absolutely overrun. But we can make it so that we don't have anything behind us to worry about. I've got my guys equipped with mostly silent weapons. So yes, we've got a little bit of extra trouble. The threat counter did bring in some walkers, but no more than we needed to really worry about. Silent weapons are definitely a strong consideration here. Having things like tactical on the armor, especially if you don't have Glenn, that helps. You're still dealing with enemies and then being able to move. I definitely suggest that spawn block at the top left first, and then just advance nice and slowly. Bring silent weapons or weapons that will reduce threat. That's also very, very handy. And then we're back to the start, so we know what to do. Pretty good little set of missions. They're fun, except for fish in a barrel, which I don't really rate, but at least it's quick. You know whether you've succeeded or not pretty quickly. I'm trying to find the positives there. If you do have any dramas with any of these particular missions, let me know, and either I or somebody else in the comments will be able to help you, I'm sure. Good luck to you and your guild. Here's hoping you get a fantastic score for all of this, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.